I had been waiting for Spiritfall for some time now, and as soon as it arrived it made me relegate all the other games I had in my hands to the background. A game doesn't have to be the best ever to keep the player interested, committed and excited about the progression, and Spiritfall is a master at that. It always keeps some numbers going up. Since you are here, why don't you leave a like, a comment, or even better, a subscription to the channel for more indie content like this one. Thank you a lot. Spiritfall is an action roguelite like many others that swarm on Steam charts. I play a lot of them and most end up meaning nothing to me, but that wasn't the case this time. The game is in early access, so I still can't quite understand how the story will develop, but what I do know is that my role is to bring back the light and fight against the corruption that exists in the world. Over time we realize that our role is not clear, since the information we are given is very contradictory. A plot that will surely be concluded in the 2 biomes that are not yet included in this version of the game. This kind of game is much better played with a controller, and it takes up almost all the keys. For my head it becomes complicated to remember everything, but the truth is that over time the combinations came out somewhat naturally, especially if I managed to unlock my favorite abilities throughout the run, with which I was already starting to play empirically. Although there are more free spaces on the wall for the future, in this version we have access to 3 weapons. We start with a hammer that has a medium range and medium speed, and then we can unlock 2 more, a set of metal fists that work at short distance but at great speed, and a bow that can be used at a safer ranged distance at medium speed. Each of the weapons has a quick attack and a projection attack, which throws opponents away. In addition, our character has access to a projectile and 2 special attacks. All these attacks can be improved or acquired, since we don't have them all at the beginning of each run, through the blessing of entities given to us when we defeat all enemies in a room. Considering only the weapons, they never seemed balanced to me in these levels that we have access to, with the fists being much more suited to the way the levels are structured and how the skills work, and the bow being the least useful in all situations except the boss fights. When adding the abilities, the imbalance created in all possible combinations is even greater, as some buffs become extremely powerful, as each one of them is suited to each one of the weapons, making some combinations much more useful than others. Even with abilities that are independent of weapons, there are winning formulas, as their interactions with enemies from different biomes can greatly facilitate navigation through the rooms. Although I see this imbalance, it doesn't seem essential for the game that all the combinations are balanced, because this imbalance helps to create slightly different fighting styles, something that often doesn't happen in this type of game. Each weapon has a few different combinations of moves, all of them easy to execute and, if you are willing to do it, capable of creating very satisfying moments, such as permanently keeping the enemy in the air to be hit, or, better yet, projecting him against the walls at astonishing speeds, providing very funny moments, some worthy of entering in any NBA Jam game. For me, this is where the game sets itself apart from the others, as it doesn't shy away from creating exaggerated moments for the pure delight of the player. Although there are enemies who remember us in the different runs, the dialogue does not convey any continuity or significance, sticking to the hollow void of repetition that made me ignore it since the beginning. But the specularity of the moments is as exaggeration in the reactions and physical responses to contact make the game a hell of a lot more fun than it should be entitled to. For example, after finishing each one of the rooms, we can choose the next one, guiding in a certain way which abilities we want to unlock. This system offers us some different options that, after understanding exactly how they work, almost allow us to make the combinations of skills we want. But what I wanted to get at is that at a certain point we can discover a rift that gives us access to a special room where we fight against a much stronger opponent in exchange for being able to access more blessings. Where's the fun in this? The fight in this scenario is completely cloned from Super Smash Bros. I emphasize that for a rogue like that, up to this point is not very big, the creators did not shy away for adding various mechanisms to adjust the difficulty to the player's ability. To begin with, during the game all attacks are preceded by a huge red exclamation mark for each enemy, something that helps a lot as soon as we learn how to time them. Of course, at a certain point there are so many enemies on so many places that we can't see them all, but it's an excellent help. Another mechanism is the possibility of adjusting the level of damage suffered or the speed of the game. Finally, there are more things that we can unlock to help with our progression. There is a skill tree, still very incomplete at this stage of the game. There is an unlockable progression for each weapon, and there is a progression that allows us to ease our way through each map. There is always some number going up. Too bad that in this version there were no cloud saves, which forced me to have two saves in parallel, so I had to repeat a lot of things. This option is now available, fortunately. Spiritfall has found something that makes it stand out from the crowd. His exaggerated style makes the proposal very appealing, and the gift that the creators offer to the players allows it to suit practically all skill levels, making this game an easy recommendation for fans of the genre. See you next time, guys. Bye!